Ladies and gentlemen, look at this. A gorgeous chicken fajitas dish. That's grilled marinated chicken breast with some grilled chili peppers, bell pepper and poblano, some chopped green scallions, a little avocado, some lime, cilantro. Folks, this is what it means to have chicken fajitas right here. Howdy folks, welcome back to Texas Cooking Today. This is a Texas Cooking Today tutorial, and it is absolutely packed full of information. I teach methodology, I teach the techniques used, and we also discuss the ingredients themselves. So I like to go into depth on some of these recipes, and this is how I do it, is through these tutorials. Now, if you don't need all the extraneous information, the previous episode is just the recipe itself. But for now, folks, let's get in the kitchen and let me show you the details on how to pull off this recipe. It's a good one. Come on. Today I'm going to make some chicken fajitas. Guys, I love to eat chicken fajitas. They're delicious, and this recipe is popping good. Now, if you have a grill, it's a wonderful thing to cook this recipe on it, but you don't have to have a grill. You could have just a plain iron skillet, or you could have one of those skillets that has the ribs in the bottom. It gives you nice little grill marks. You can do this under a broiler. There's a lot of ways you can cook this. What's important is that we get the marinade right on that chicken and put all of the right toppings with it. Behind me, I have a whole bunch of fantastic ingredients that I'm absolutely itching to show you. So let's get into that first and get busy making this fantastic chicken fajitas. Well, there it is, guys. That is the star of our dish. That is the chicken. Now, your fajitas aren't chicken fajitas without a good quality cut of chicken. I'm going to be using a boneless, skinless breast. Now with it, I also want to put some great tasting vegetables. Just some vegetables, nothing really spectacular, but when they're combined the right way, they are fantastic. I have, for my toppings, I have some poblano chilies and bell peppers. These taste a little different from each other. These have a little heat, these have no heat, and they are delicious. Also got some onion for the same things, a wonderful topping. Avocado that you can use by itself, or you can make guacamole with this and use that on your fajitas. Fantastic option. Also, there's some cheese. We've got some green onions and cilantro. Fantastic stuff. So topping off these fajitas is going to be an easy thing to do. That marinade, we're going to be using lime juice and garlic and paprika, cayenne and cumin. It's going to make a fantastic tasting marinade. And once they're all marinated and we cook it up on that grill, oh, you get that good smoky flavor. Now folks, for those of you who have not a grill, if you don't have a grill, that's not a big problem. We can simply, instead of using a grill, use some liquid smoke, and that is a nice option when it comes to making fajitas if you have to cook them indoors. To prep out our chicken to marinate this, you'll see a lot of folks will slice up their chicken and then marinate it, and that's fine. If you want to do it that way, you can. I'm going to recommend, though, that we take these and pound them down and then marinate it, and that way when I put it on the grill, I get wonderful grill marks across it. That translates to a lovely dish. All right, so what I want to do, let me show you how this works. Take a chicken breast, we're going to put it in a plastic bag. Now, chicken breasts are somewhat tender, so you don't want to go crazy when you're trying to pound one of these out. I like to use something that has a very broad surface. The bottom of my skillet works good, and it has a nice rounded edge, so it's not sharp and it won't cut into the chicken. I can do that, roll it on this edge to get a better effect. And now we have a nice even chicken breast. It's a 1/2 inch thick, it's flat, it'll marinate easy, and it'll cook up beautiful. We need to get our spices all ready for our dish, and that requires getting that garlic processed. Now if you notice what I'm doing, breaking that husk free, that's all it takes right there. Just squeeze it in your hand firmly and then give it a bit of a twist. That paper will come right off. There we go. Once I've removed the paper from my garlic, I simply want to cut off that callus on the end. I don't really like seeing that in my food, and if I'm going to mince up garlic or anything like that, I really prefer not to have that around. Okay, now when it comes to mincing garlic, something you want to remember, you got to crush it, otherwise it's going to bob around while you're trying to cut it. So first let's give him a little crush, just like that. And this one, the same thing. Now I can go to cutting these without having any problems. There we go. Now I want to show you the technique I'm using here, and I'll need you to come around to my other side over here so I can show you this the right way. This is one of those up close and personal kind of tutorials. The technique that I'm going to show you here is one that has commonly been used by chefs for decades, possibly even centuries. I'm not really too sure how long it's been around, but what this involves is taking a knife with a controlled length blade. You don't want it too long. I find a chef's knife that's real long is kind of harder to do this with. A santoku is really nice. Something with around an 8-9 inch blade works good. You don't want too much curve on that blade, and you want to be able to bring that knife up and down just like this. Now that's what we're going to be doing. For this particular cut, you don't necessarily need to choke up like this, but you can, okay? Like so. I pull back and put my fingers up here. Now this is important. Tuck your thumb underneath so you don't injure yourself. Your fingers simply control movement on that blade, so you get a better down pressure on it, and at the same time it'll control side movement. Isn't that easy? So mincing off your garlic this way isn't that tough. And over time, you'll get to where you can speed it up. Just like this. See? And that isn't nearly as fast as I can go. That's just getting it started up. There you have it, folks. Simple garlic mincing right there. When you want to knock it out quick and easy, and you don't want to have to mess with cleaning up one of those garlic presses, this is the best way I know of. Guys, we have that garlic all chopped up, and I'm only going to be applying it to one side of the chicken. It's really all that's necessary. There we go. And I can just kind of distribute that lightly with my tongs. And I think some of it hits the pan. That's not a big deal, okay? The idea here is that we're going to get this garlic down in the location where I'm actually going to marinate these. Let's go ahead, cut up some of these limes, because we're going to be needing those here in just a moment. Now it's also important to have enough limes to save over for the finish of this, because when it comes to making fajitas, having a fresh squeeze of lime over that top of that meat after it's been cooked is absolutely heavenly. But for the marinade, it's also important for a couple of reasons. We need the flavor and we need the juice. So I'm going to squeeze these out real good. I think it is really important that you get a good close-up for how I apply these spices, because the amount of spice in this case really does matter, guys. I'm going to start with the cayenne, and that's the one we're going to use the least of. When it comes to using cayenne on your chicken fajitas, you want no more than maybe 1/4 to 1/2 of a teaspoon. So I give you this close-up so that you can see just how much I'm actually using, and it is light. All right. On the cumin, it is a very strong spice. You can go heavier on it than you do that cayenne, about twice as much. So I can use anywhere from 3/4, you can say actually 1/2 a teaspoon to a teaspoon. The paprika, you can go much heavier on that. It is a mild, even though it's a chili, it's a mild chili. It is delicious. It's not very hot. And that's sort of the neat thing about that. There we go. So plenty of that paprika. You've got to be careful on how much of each that you use. Now I'm going to flip these over. I'm going to give a squeeze of lime to the second side, and then I'm going to, other than the garlic, do the exact same thing here, okay? Okay, so how long is it going to take to marinate these? That just depends on how long you want it in there, but frankly, anywhere from 1 to 3 hours is going to be way more than adequate. 3 hours on the long side. 1 hour is, in my view, perfect. Sometimes I do an hour and a half just to get it extra zesty for myself, but that's about it. So guys, it's a matter of giving this time. I'm going to take all of this, I'm going to put these in a plastic bag, I'm going to pour the excess juice down in that same plastic bag, and then I'm going to put these in the refrigerate to marinate, okay? Give it time under refrigeration for marinating. All right, I have placed all of that down in a plastic bag, and I'm going to put it in a bowl and set it in the fridge to marinate. The meat is in the refrigerator marinating. It's been in there for about an hour, and I'm going to be preparing my vegetables in a little bit. Something I wanted to talk to you about before I move on is, where did fajitas come from? What does fajitas mean? What is this? Okay, let's start with the word itself. Fajitas, it's Spanish. It means little strips. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cook up a chicken and make little strips out of it. Okay, I'm going to take some vegetables. I'm going to cut them in little strips. We're going to cook those up. That's what this is about, little strips. And then, of course, we decorate it with other little goodies and make it delicious. So that's that part of it. Now, where did the fajitas thing come from? Well, here's the thing. Part of a cowboy's pay, especially if you were Hispanic, or also American Indian, a lot of American Indians were at one time cowboys, would come slaughter season, okay? And they would be butchering cows. And so what they would do is provide certain parts of the cow to certain cowboys as part of their pay. It was part of their pay package. You'd get these cuts of meat and these organs, and you can take them and do what you want with them. All right, so that's what they would do, is they would take these things and make different things. They would make a wonderful Mexican stew called menudo using the tripe, and that was part of the cowboy's pay, was the tripe. And also, they would use that skirt steak, all right, that beautiful wraparound piece of meat that for a long time was considered throwaway meat, kind of like the tail. A lot of people didn't appreciate it. Well, they would take that piece of beef and then cook it up after marinating it and cut strips out of it, and thus was born fajitas. All right, so you have this kind of thing going on with the fajitas. Is it a Mexican dish? Yes. Is it a Texas dish? Yes. Is it a Tex-Mex dish? Yes. All of the above are correct. Okay, this is something that originated in northern Mexico. It was beef country. In Texas, beef country. Texas used to be part of Mexico. All right, and all of this intertwines. All right, so this is staple food for where I'm from. But I'll be straight up with you. Before the late 70s, fajitas weren't really heard of. It was something that was enjoyed by the poor, not by people just that were common people or wealthy people. It wasn't really well known. Fajitas was part of a pay package in essence when you get right down to it. So that's my timer telling me I have 10 minutes left on the marinade. So guess what, folks? It's time for us to start taking care of these vegetables. I'm going to prepare the chilies next. Let's get on to that. Okay, folks, I'm turning my front burner on to high. I'm going to put my chilies right over this, and I'm going to scorch the skin all the way around on them. In a little bit, you'll hear some popping and crackling, and that's just that skin puffing up and blistering on that chili. If you don't want to do this way over an open flame, you can also do this on your grill. You can do this in an oven. You can place your chilies in a hot oven under a broiler or in a very, very hot oven, about 400 degrees. They don't have to be in there long, just long enough to heat them up. From there, place your chilies into a plastic bag and let them sweat for about 15 minutes. The skin will peel right off of them. Now folks, once you have your chilies charred all the way over like this, you can just start removing that skin. You see how easy that comes off? You can also wash it off. Sometimes I like to do it that way. Either way works just fine, and it gives you a good clean chili to work with after the fact. So isn't that neat? Now next thing you want to do when you're doing this is we want to remove the crown, this part up here, and we want to go ahead and remove the seeds inside. So I'm going to push my finger in there and pull down. That's how I open a chili up after scorching the skin off. It softens it just enough. Now I can, ouch, run my fingers around this crown just like so to remove it. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling up on that upper edge of the crown, just like that. There we go, folks. Have you ever seen one opened up like that before? How's that for neat? Okay, so we have this guy essentially, we have this guy essentially ready to go ahead and slice. I'm going to give him a quick rinse. Now, in the event that you're appalled that I'm giving this a rinse and I'm washing off all of that wonderful flavor, here's how I see it. These things have explosive flavor. Chilies are fantastic. And it's kind of hard to mess that up. But look how well this came out and ready to slice. Isn't it gorgeous what they look like once you get that skin off of them and processed? Folks, we're going to have some beautiful little strips. So that's all I'm going to do is sit here and process these out. If you would, go ahead and slice yours up, make some little strips. We will continue with these vegetables, getting everything sliced up just right. Let's take a look at the avocado. Hopefully it is all right. I'm hoping it hadn't matured too much. Oh, looky there. Now let me show you something about handling avocados. It's really not that hard. First thing is I need to remove the pit. It is not that hard if you simply drive the edge of your knife into the pit. Don't hit it real hard. You don't want to go through and into your hand, of course. Just like that, see there? And once it's off on your edge, the edge of your knife, just knock it off like that. See? That's all there is to that. To remove the skin from the outside of your avocado, easy enough. Let's just peel it. It's a fruit. You peel it, guys. That's all there is to it. Not easy enough. There you go. Now, bad spot on this fruit. We're just going to cut it out. Not an issue. See there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and just make some beautiful slices with them. There we go. We have our avocado all ready to go. Isn't that beautiful? What a wonderful way to do it, right? Let's test our pan and see if we have a good temperature for searing. Ah, look at that. You see how that skates around in there? That's a good sign right there. We don't want it too hot. We don't want to smoke the oil. But if your pan is hot enough for water to dance in it like that without the oil smoking, it's just right. Let's get a little oil in here. There we go. We'll start with those onions. Remember, they weren't cooked, so they need to hit the fire first. We have had these cooking now for about 2 minutes. I'm starting to get a little bit of caramelization on the edge, and I'm heating this over a medium-high heat. I need to add in some chilies now that I'm getting a little bit of that caramelization. So there's some of my orange. Get some red in there. Oh yeah. Some of our green. A little bit of salt. Isn't that gorgeous? Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call some colorful fajitas. Oh yeah. Okay folks, our vegetables are cooked. The pan has been turned off. It's still sizzling a little bit, and that's fine. Okay, now I just need to get my meat all sliced up and beautiful. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to make us some little strips. Oh, that's beautiful. Now, to finish up this beautiful plate of fajitas, I'm going to take some of my avocado. I'll line them up right back here. We'll take this top piece off of it. There we go. Next, I'm going to want, oh yes, some cilantro leaves. Oh, just a few. I want plenty of cilantro. I love cilantro when it comes to my fajitas. Of course, I love green onions also. Just one of my favorites. I need to line out part of my plate with those. Now folks, we are approaching an absolutely fabulous, stellar dish. So what we need to do is get some lime up here. Oh yes. Wow, that is gorgeous, isn't it? A fantastic looking dish for any special occasion. All right. Right there, ladies and gentlemen, fajitas. Fabulous. This is what fajitas really should be. Beautiful celebration food that has a very special flavor. Robust, intense, delicious flavor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Texas Cooking Today, for watching chicken fajitas. Enjoy those chicken fajitas. They're really good. And please, drop me some comments down below. Click the like button if you enjoyed this. And thank you very much for watching. Folks, you have a good day. Bye-bye. There it was, folks. Another beautiful recipe right here on Texas Cooking Today. I would like to say thank you very much for watching Texas Cooking Today, for watching this video. I would like to say also, if you would, please take a look at the channel. I have a lot of videos, good recipes, and lots of technique taught. Anything you want to know about how to pull something off, I can show you how to do it. And that's the reason I like to do these tutorial videos. The shorts are okay, like everybody else does, but they leave out so much information, and I just don't like recipe videos that do that, because those that don't know how to cook real well don't pick up a lot. So folks, thank you very much for watching again. Please click the subscribe button, check the channel out, and for goodness sake, please share this video. Bye-bye.